it is my pleasure to introduce to you our Governor, Deval Patrick.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Nancy, for the warm welcome. Thank you all for the warm welcome. And Pastor Hamilton, I can't believe we have to come to the podium after you. You did say joy comes in the morning. Given the length of the program, it will be morning before we are all done. But I am glad to be with you all, here with my team, here with the founders, here with our colleagues in government, to say happy anniversary to GBIO. And thank you for having me here tonight. I wish you could see the view from here. Over 1,000 souls, 1,700, who've come together to bear witness and to give voice to the idea of community, the realization that each of us has a stake in each other. Over 1,000 souls, 1,700, joined not by a common religion or by a common birthplace or a common profession or even common language, but rather by common values of justice, equality, and fair play. What I came to celebrate tonight is the wonderful example that you set for all of us. That's how we got healthcare reform. You forged a broad coalition, including with the Speaker, the Senate President, business, and others, that started from the premise that health is a public good and that healthcare should be affordable, accessible, and universal. Because of you, some 340,000 adults and children who were uninsured last year are insured this year. And those adults and children and families are secure in knowing that they won't lose their health care because they change their job, or they won't go bankrupt because they get seriously ill. I learned recently about a woman who had been treated repeatedly in an emergency room for a chronic sore throat, year after year. Because of health care reform, she was able to see a primary care physician who diagnosed her with throat cancer and who was able to get her the treatment she needs. Today, she is on the road to recovery. There are hundreds of stories just like this one. And I mention this one as a simple reminder that healthcare reform is not about abstract benefits, but a real change in real people's lives. And I thank you for that. There are other issues on your agenda and on mine. It's time for the next step in education reform, one that eliminates the achievement gap and assures every student a world-class education. It's time to rebuild our roads and bridges and to create the platform for opportunity in every city and every town in the Commonwealth. It's time to make it easier for you and me and our parents to age with dignity, with simpler access to the programs and benefits that help us do so. And ladies and gentlemen, it is time, past time, to address the gun and gang violence that drains life and hope out of too many communities. And as we tackle these, as we face these and other challenges before us, remember what we learned about change itself from the work that you did and so many others did on healthcare reform. Change is never easy and rarely quick. It takes patience and perseverance. It takes vision and sometimes a faith in the unseen. We can't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. And we can't accept that passage of legislation alone will solve a problem. If you think about health care reform, we need to confront the challenge of controlling health care costs with the same focus, commitment, and sense of shared responsibility that the coalition brought to expanding access in the first place. Reverend Hamilton told us, taxpayers and consumers have already started to take on greater responsibility for paying for reform and for controlling costs. In this effort, you cannot stand alone, and you will not stand alone. But we have also learned that change is worth the work. It's worth the sweat and the tedium. It's worth it to that woman who is getting treated for her cancer. It's worth it to the child looking just for a safe way home from school. It's worth it to the senior who wants only to live out her years at home with just enough support to stay there. It's worth it to the business owner and the commuter who needs a safe and convenient way to travel and to transport goods. It's worth it to all of us who recognize that we are one community in Massachusetts, that our collective success depends as much on the most vulnerable among us as it does on the most mighty. You all come we all come from a variety of faith traditions. But as British Prime Minister Gordon Brown said so well recently, we are not moral strangers. There is a moral sense common to us all. When Christians say, "Do to others what you would have them do to you," when Muslims say, "No one of you is a believer until he desires for his brother that which he deserves for himself," when Jews say, "What is hateful to you, do not to your fellow man," when Hindus say, "This is the sum of duty, do not unto other, which would cause pain if done to you," when Sikhs say, "Treat others as you would be treated yourself," when Buddhists say, "Hurt not others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful," they reflect a common truth dear to billions of adherents of those and other religions that is true also of all the great secular thinkers as well, that we not only cooperate out of need, but there is a human need to cooperate. And that cooperation is built on the desire for liberty and the call to justice, which is simply respect for the dignity of every living soul and our sense of what is equitable and fair. That is what GBIO is about. That, at our best, is what this Commonwealth must be about. Let's build that beloved community together. Thank you for having me tonight. God bless you all.